Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into an overarching macroplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today we are playing using the combat mechanics from Dicing with Death. It's not our first time playing it and not my first time DMing it. However, I do sometimes still play Calvin Ball with the rules. So we still might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Dicing with Death coming out soon. Build your own Dicing with Death character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Anne.
Hey, I'm Anne. My list of vocab words for you this time are numbers 1 through 10. 1. Motion of the liver. In Shakespearean times, the liver was like the heart, so the motion of the liver is like the doki doki, or like ba-dum, ba-dum, like you feel it deep in your abdomen. 2, mychar is a truant. 3, ordinary. You'd think it's an adjective, but that means tavern, like a bar. 4, out of haunt means that you're away from the others. I guess you're a ghost. I don't know. I don't understand Elizabethan English. That's why I'm playing this character. 5, on the hip means at my mercy. Shakes head. I don't know why. 6, a portents. Portents is your behavior. Your portents is poor today. 7, the word teen means pain, and I thought that made a lot of sense. 8, what is, like W-O-T, is to know, and that just sounds very British. 9, leaf means soon. 10, gaskins or breeches. So I will be role-playing as Anne, and I will be using those words at some point during the adventure, and I actually look like Anne today, except I'm fraying at the edges, and occasionally I blink out and see death in the corner of my eye. Totally normal. Okay, Anne looks like an Elizabethan peasant. There we go. Yeah.
And we are also joined by Yarnak.
Hello. My name is Yarnak. I'm about 6'2". I have black carapace skin, like the skin you'd see on a crab, but black, marbled with red and white. Like if you're looking at a granite table where it has like veins of color, that's kind of what my skin looks like. And there's like spikes on the shoulder. He can look very imposing to people. I can look very imposing to people. There we go.
And Armando.
Yes, hello, my name is Armando Contenza Vilano de Medici. I am a 6'2" human being with a shoulder-length brown, very dark brown hair, not black, but it looks almost black because it is so dark. My eyes are an amber color. My skin is like a fresco cream, and I have a fabulous mustache right on my face. And what can I say? I am a mercenary sword fighter. I'm a veteran of adventuring, and I'm ready for whatever the GM thinks that she is going to throw at me and our team today.
You all are standing in a graveyard, and there's a large funeral in front of you, and you notice quite a few fellow kittens. And there's 3 caskets lined out, and a man dressed in like a priest's stole is saying, "We are all gathered here today to mourn our fellow fire-breathing kittens, Anne, Armando, and Yarnak, who, despite the common of today's deaths being very, very satisfying, seem to have found their lives cut short." As he continues to drone on and on, you all are standing in the back of this crowd. You can see to your right a gravestone that kind of looks like a door, and it's vaguely glowing.
I'd like to try to speak with somebody that's in the crowd, just like touch him on the shoulder, like, hello? I'm not dead. No. Yeah, that's...
As you go to tap him on the shoulder, your hand passes straight through, and they shiver as if an ice cube has been dropped down the back of their shirt. And they go, "Whew, cold weather."
What is happening? And I look around to see if anybody can hear me.
I can hear you.
Armando?
Oh, this again.
Oh, this happened to you too? This is not new for me. It is inconvenient for sure, but it's gonna be okay. What is your name, by the way?
Yarnak.
Yeah,
Is
I am
this
Armando.
normal?
Oh, it's pleasure to meet you.
Oh yeah, like this has happened to both you and what's your name? He's pointing at Anne.
Anne Jopling. It first happened to me when I was run over by a carriage.
Oh, well, this is not what I was expecting when I was joining this guild. But if it's normal, then I guess
You know, funny enough, my first outing with the guild, this is what happened to me. All right, we're trying to get rid of rats in a basement. It went wrong, and I die. And I'm guessing we did something similar, and it's okay. Like, just stick with me and Anne. We have been navigating the afterlife in one form or another before, and so you're in good hands, I think. But I would kind of like to hear more about what kind things these people are saying at our collective funeral. It's not often you get to hear like the open emotion of how they feel about you, or like if they thought your breath was stinky or whatever. Like anything can come out now, you know. So.
Oh
would
yeah,
like to-
sorry. Yeah, I'll be quiet. I want to hear that too.
No,
I
yeah,
don't-
no, you don't need to be quiet. Like if you
yeah.
have questions, this is very discombobulating. So
Yeah.
it's okay to feel like this and ask questions, and it's okay.
Wait. Yarnak's gonna try to give you a handshake. See if we can touch each other, because we can hear each other.
You can. It's
Okay.
Oh.
you can touch each other.
I will return like with a warrior handshake where I do not grab his hand, but I grab like his forearm, and it's like my brother, because clearly we have been in some situation where we are now bonded in a trauma format.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's listen. Let's see what they have to say. They can't hear us, so.
The man standing in the front is like shuffling papers around, and some of them are like hastily scribbled notes. Some of them are fancy script all written out. And he goes, "When I asked for comments on these wonderful, wonderful fire-breathing kittens," and you hear a couple people kind of snort, they obviously were well loved by the community. And the unsatisfactory version of their passings is a tragedy. And they were such stand-up people, and you can kind of like see the crowd going, "This man did not read our notes at all. He's just droning." And he kind of he talks for like an hour.
Oh,
And before he's like, "And with that, we close our ceremony with a bang." And like fireworks go off behind him.
Wow. Well, why didn't they have like any of our family members come up? Was this like a closed off funeral just for the fire breathing kittens? It's a little weird. Not
I think
only. Yeah.
that is so I have, after my first death, I review my contract I signed with the fire breathing kittens, and this is kind of part of the package. They try to minimize the expense of your death because they go through kind of a lot of adventurers, and it's a limited audience. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought. Yeah.
And in compensation, we receive fireworks.
Oh, well, they were very spectacular. I mean,
I
they
agree.
went into different shapes. One looked like you and Anne and me. Like, it was, I mean, I think they spent the most money on the fireworks. Our caskets look like cardboard boxes.
Yeah,
Like,
you think they could like pull back on the fireworks a little bit and maybe invite family? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
The door off to the side of you opens, and a man, he looks really young. Like, he looks like maybe 20-ish, and he has dark hair and kind of like a pointed face, kind of sticks his head out, looks around, spots you all standing there, and just kind of goes, hey, I need to talk to you, please, but not here," as he's like looking around like he's trying to avoid somebody, and pops back in the door.
Did you see that? I saw somebody come out of that glowing door. Do you think we should? I mean, we can peek in, see if... Did you recognize him? I mean, I didn't know who he was, but we talk to people we don't know all the time, right? In this guild?
That's true. But, I mean, the consequence could be like, you could be staring at your own funeral. So, but what else do we have to lose, honestly? I mean, right?
Yeah.
However, before we go talk to that man in the door, I would like to ask the EM, were there any particular people during that hour-long droning that were like chuckling or that were very rude or inappropriate to the announcement of the death of the three of us?
No, but you did notice that Monty was standing behind the pastor, the ceremonial dude, and like glaring and like 2-finger eyeballing at anybody that tried. Like, give me a reason to punch you in the face. I would very much so like to punch you in the face.
Because I was going to like touch them and give them the chivers, you know, like as a punishment. But I guess it's not necessary. Yarnak, Anne, you want to go through this door?
Yeah. I wait until you two have. Let me know when you have.
Well, I don't want to go through the door. I just want to peek in and see if the guy's still behind there. Because I don't know what will happen if we go into this door. I mean, we're already dead, so maybe we need to go through this door so we can get alive again. You guys are the experts. This is my first time dying.
Can I push him through the door?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess this would be a challenge between the two
one
of
leg
you.
around his ankle and push his shoulders.
How you're combat trained, aren't you?
Not at all.
No, not Anne, but
Oh, yes, I am.
Yarnak. Okay,
Like-
So
so
wait, yeah, no, he's a giant scaly thing with like veiny skin and spikes. No,
Huge.
actually, never mind. I don't really want to touch him.
But you're thinking of him in the physical realm, right?
Yeah,
that is
that is-
true.
we could have the same strength in the spiritual realm. Like,
Just go
even
through.
though
Just go to the light.
I shrug. I'm like, all right. And I open the door wide and I walk through. I don't even look. I just go.
Like
Okay.
that.
What does it look like with him going through a door? Is it just like a regular going through?
Yeah.
Oh, then I just follow right after.
Okay, now that they're gone, I poke my head into the casket because my head goes right through, right? I want to see what body's in there.
There's nothing in your casket.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and I go through the door.
Oh, man. What a missed opportunity. I could have looked in my casket.
I could have looked at my dead body. What was I thinking?
Although, I hope there is nothing in my casket either, because I have an agreement with the Nikamoy Fencing Academy that they are going to stuff my body and put it like a trophy mascot at the academy. So they better not be putting me in the ground. That's all I'm saying.
I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. As you all walk through the door, you kind of get like the stereotypical white flash transition. And you're standing in an office. It's kind of like dark, painted with like dark wood, darker colors. There's a grand oak desk. And sitting behind it is that same gentleman who has a pointed face and dark hair. And he's kind of sitting there flipping through paperwork and looking at the door and looking at you guys being like, okay, is everybody here? Is everybody here? Is everybody here? Okay, everybody's here. And he goes, so, sorry I had to kill you, but I really, really needed to talk to you. We have kind of a little situation.
I think we have more than one
Yeah.
situation, frankly.
You just killed 3 of us. Who are you? And who gave you the authority to kill us?
So, I'm Morrow is what I've been called so far. It seems to be the easiest thing to call me. But I am the aspect of death of unsatisfied endings, which again, super sorry about that one. And I really, really need your help. And you get to come back to life because after we're all done, I just couldn't talk to you while you were alive. So yeah, sorry.
Couldn't you have done like Morse code with chills? I mean, maybe we wouldn't have noticed it. Maybe you tried before. I mean, I did feel chills like the other day, like on and off. Were you trying to speak to me in Morse code so you didn't have to kill me? Or
I mean, I was just trying to rip souls from bodies, and that wasn't working, so...
Oh, okay. Well, that's worse.
Let me see if I understand the situation, okay? You kill us, so this means you can interact with the physical world with no issue, right? And on top of this, we have established for a very long time a recent form of communication that everybody understands, like letters, poems, stories of all kinds. There was, yeah, exactly. It did not cross your mind to maybe write a note, address it to us. Clearly, you know how to contact us because we are dead. You have done this in some way. By the way, how did you do this?
It was, well, it took a lot, like, I had to like butterfly affect it. So I had to like tip some dominoes, whisper in some ears, plant some ideas, and then hope it all came to fruition. And I'm gonna be honest, I tried to do this with about 20 fire-breathing kittens, and I got 3, so nobody else died, which was great. They all solved their own problems, but, yeah, y'all are harder to kill on purpose than I expected.
Go team.
So you set a series of events into motion for all of the fire-breathing kittens. How long have you been working on this? If it was like whispered comments, bringing people to want to kill us, was this like years and you finally got 3 of us now? Like,
oh, no, it's only been like 2 months.
Oh, wow. Still, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so, another aspect of death, her name is, the architect of satisfying ends. Usually we just call him the architect. Has kind of locked me and the other aspects out, and has kind of decided that everyone should die in a satisfying way. And so slowly, the rest of us are dying, and, you know, balance to the world and all of that. Like, I need some help getting it unlocked because I can't by myself. And I'm baby, kind of. I'm the youngest aspect, and I hold no power.
So if we succeed, people will stop only having satisfying endings, and we'll start to have the prospect of death of unsatisfying endings?
Yes, but if they only have satisfying endings, death itself could unravel, because we're not super supposed to be apart this long.
Oh, so people would stop dying if we don't help you?
Exactly.
I like to think that this is a very small sacrifice for us to undo death itself. What if we refuse to help you?
Armando, cough. What we should be asking is, my, that's terrible. How did they lock you up and where? Right, Armando?
Yes. And
wink.
I could not help but forget. I sometimes talk without thinking. That is a bad habit of mine. Probably what led to my unceremonious death, I assume. And is a proper spokesperson. Yarnak also is a very clever person, so I defer to them.
My Morrow, that's just awful. Where are your friends locked up, and how did they get locked up?
Well, the architect kind of locked us all in our own realms. I have a lot of upset people, so I kind of hang out in the offices, which is why I'm here. Like, if I try to walk out my office door, I will come back here. Like, I don't get very far unless I'm headed to the mortal realm. And the architect themselves has locked themselves up in, like, our big old castle thing.
So, yeah. So how did he lock you? Or is it a she? Or doesn't have a gender? I don't know how death works.
It kind of varies.
So he locked you in the...
They. The genderless pronoun is they.
They?
It could be it. I mean...
It. Yeah.
I'm not feeling particularly friendly in his circumstance, to be honest. What is it doing?
Well, we have these keys, and he slides over like a glowing red, what looks like a piece of a crystal, so like a shard off of a crystal. so we can get into the big castle thing. It kind of shifts depending on who's in there and like what our preferred look is. It's very cool architecturally, let me tell you. But you have to have all the keys to get in because it's kind of where we become, ooh, death, the big death and combine. And so we have to keep it safe. So everybody has to be in there. Well, the architect kind of rallied some of my siblings, I guess you could call us siblings. It's very weird. And then locked others of us in our own realms. And while we can't go and get them, other mortals and souls could. But with all the satisfying endings, all the souls that I've managed to snag from the ether, I guess you could say, kind of haven't wanted to help. And so I'm hoping you all will be able to help.
Absolutely, we will help you. We, and then Anne blinks out of existence. Y'all are like, what just happened?
Where did you go?
Yeah, and then she's back. Continues as if she never stopped. The diamond stud earrings in her ears sparkle a little bit brighter than they're glowing than they were glowing before. And she continues with her sentence, of course we'll help you. We only desire for you to be returned to where you should be, in charge of death, of unsatisfying endings, of course. She doesn't notice that she blinked.
Whoa. Then Yarnak's, so we have to get, how many of your siblings are there? So everybody has their own key, but you need all the keys to get into the castle? Or is that what you're saying?
You need the rest of the keys because some of my siblings are already there that kicked us out.
So there's more than the architect.
Yeah, so
that's in the castle.
Yeah, so you're gonna need to go talk to Peaceful Death, Tragic Death, Finality. That one's a real peach. Death of Forgotten Deaths, and then the rest of them. Yeah, that should. They're like thinking, going through a mental list. They go, yeah, that should be all of them. Just those three. And then if you can get their keys, the other keys are already there because they kicked us out. And you should be able to get in.
I have a question pertaining to the passage of time in this realm. I don't mean to get too philosophical, but it could impact our ability to help you. Do we have like a time limit or whatever to do this? Like, do you blink out of existence if we don't do it in like an hour or like 50 years or whatever? Or is it kind of flexible?
I mean, it's the death realm. Time's kind of weird. I'm not quite sure. There probably is a time limit. This kind of comes back to the whole baby thing. I don't really know. I was the last one formed. I just kind of do my thing. I'm also not very responsible, because now that I'm thinking about it, I probably didn't have to try to kill a bunch of people. So, hurrying would be great, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, one last question. So there's people in the castle, the architect and a couple of the siblings. If they were to leave the castle, would they not be able to enter the castle again because they don't have the keys?
Correct.
Okay.
If we were to give someone a peaceful death, would peaceful death have to leave the castle to come meet us?
No. Peaceful death, you kind of just show up. They really don't have to do much other than just exist, because most people, I died with my husband by my side and everything was so sweet. And he's like doing like the worst old woman accent right now. I will just, look, there's a cottage for me. I will just go there. Whereas me, I usually get the angry ones that want to destroy stuff. That's why we have a destruction room here. Kind of speeds up the customer service.
Am I to understand that the way you kill us is in line with your title? So like we all receive unsatisfying death. My bottom line is, how did we die?
Well, Armando, yours was quite easy in a way. I just had, that duel you had scheduled for like a week ago? Poison in your water bottle at the fencing school. Young kid, didn't think he could beat you.
That is like the most dishonorable thing I can imagine. That is how I die?
Yeah.
I need to sit down. One of you need to talk to the death person. I'm going to sit down and contemplate my life. Or former life, I guess.
He holds out like a paper bag and he goes, if you want to hyperventilate.
I will do what I want to do. I don't need your paper bag.
Armando, don't show Shirley portents. How do we, where the architect is?
Yeah, how do we get there? Do we just go through the door and it's right there? Or is it real? Like, how far away is this death castle? Or what do you call it? Do you call it like the office, the control room?
We haven't really come up with a name, so like if you think of one, I guess you could claim it. I just kind of call it the castle place. But I'm sure the others might have a name. I'm not, like I said, I'm not very responsible. I don't really pay attention. And he like claps his hands and the whole wall behind him opens up and reveals this like sliding white door that goes into what looks like mist that in the very like far away you can vaguely see the outline of a very jagged castle. And he goes, the realm should take you there because you have my key, so it should lead you there. Just don't lose the key. And it should kind of like tug is how it should have been set up if I did everything properly.
So it's like a compass? Do you know what a compass is? Yeah, okay.
The like spinny things with the magnets that you use in the mortal plane?
Yeah.
Yes, like a compass.
Do you have like a magical chain that's like unbreakable that we could connect this key to so we don't lose it? If it's like, is it easy to lose? Like, do other people in this realm want this key to get into that castle?
No. I mean, other than the architect would probably like to take it off of you, but they aren't going to leave the castle, so you're probably fine.
Okay. Then Yarnak will grab this crystal key and put it in his pocket.
You immediately kind of feel like it's pulling you towards the sliding door. And it's like a gentle tug. Like it's just like a little like someone's poking you and lightly pulling forward on your pocket.
So it's pulling a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for the DM. Is it possible for me to use my friction power to make my feet frictionless to have this just pull me in the direction it's supposed to go?
Sure.
I am dead, so I don't know if the power works. So
roll me 1d6 and we'll see how it goes. We're gonna do a luck roll.
Okay.
Here.
2.
And with luck, in case you are listening, in case you are our listeners, not if you are listening, I'm assuming you're listening to this podcast.
We have at least one every episode guaranteed.
I am also listening, even though I am just a part of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm listening too.
Just pulling up the luck page.
While you are looking that up, I just want to say to the listener and to all of my fellow deceased AFPK members, I want to say, look, I don't know how you all died, but I died a very unsatisfactory way. So I have a plan. I am going to help this whatever entity accomplish its goal so I can come back, but I'm going to find the name of the poisoner and I'm going to mete out justice. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, are you going to kill them like you killed your parents?
No. I did not kill my parents, okay? That was an assassin, and if you listen to a previous episode, that clears that all up in the 24-hour crime scene episode, and I was trying to, honestly, but it was not me. Justice comes in a lot of different ways. Maybe this person gets in prison for attempted murder, or maybe potentially murder. I don't know how the law works if we come back from the dead. Anyway, yes, justice will be done.
The poisoners should definitely be out of haunt for the safety of the public.
I'd say as soon as we're out of here, I'm going to help you find that guy.
You should also...
Person. Oh, wait, I need to know, how did I die?
Yeah.
Did you find the luck roll thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So, in case you are listening, Sometimes a player may have a hunch or want to try something that relies not on their prowess, but on luck instead. So for this particular situation, we are seeing if the Realm of Death has allowed him to keep his friction powers. So you rolled a 2, correct? So I'll say they're still, like, kind of sticky, but you're very slowly, like, inchworming it across.
Okay. Interesting. And then you just see Yarnak, like, sliding across the ground. He's not walking, so it might look a little odd to you, too, with him just, like, scooting slightly. And then he quickly turns it off, and he's like, interesting. I used to work a lot better on when I was alive.
Yarnak, are you tripping on your gaskins over there?
No.
I mean, it's possible. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
You could
Wait, what's a gaskin? What do you mean?
2 legs, zippers. Actually, no, those probably aren't. 2 legs, leather ties.
Oh, on
Clothing.
my shoes.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right.
Gaskins. Okay. No. Actually, I channeled energy to my feet to see where this key was pulling me, but it doesn't seem to be working like it used to. I can make parts of my body frictionless, so I can slide across the ground very easily, but it seems that I can only do it so much, so it's not perfect, so I can travel a little faster, not as fast as I used to.
Are the raiments of one body parts of one soul? Or are they mere clothing that we don temporarily that are not our true selves? Hey, I'm running towards wherever direction we're supposed to go. Let's go there. Let's get there. Come on, guys, go.
Before we are leaving, like, I have committed to, like, executing the plan, but I need a name from the death. Marrow, I believe you say your name is. Can you please tell me the name of this poisoner? And then with that information, I agree to put you back in your right place. That is not like genie talk, like it's going to be some kind of ironic thing that you are put in your place. No, look, I will accomplish the goal.
And he kind of, like, hesitates, but then he goes, oh well. Merlot happenstance.
Merlot happenstance. I'm repeating it to myself so I don't forget. Merlot happenstance. Okay, we are on the job. And
running. Come
Okay,
on,
the key's
let's go.
pulling me
Castle.
this way. We're gonna go straight through this wall portal thing.
We go.
We start heading
Perfect.
towards that place.
As you disappear into the fog that is surrounding, it kind of morphs and twists, and it opens up into this field that's surrounded by a forest of trees. And the outline of the castle kind of fades into the distance. And in this field sits a person dressed in, like, a white billowy gown. This woman is dressed in a white billowy gown. And the actual, like, facial features are just mist. And the gown kind of floats around very peacefully. And you think you hear peaceful, calming music floating around, but you're not quite sure because every time you try to listen in, it kind of fades out. And as you approach, the voice kind of comes from everywhere. And it goes, hello, I have been called Endline. And I am peaceful death, and I am here to see, well, maybe not see, but you are here for the key, yes?
No, I am here to betray the person who killed me. I feel that is only fair. And join your side in enslaving and chaining and imprisoning them.
I would like to pull Anne to the side in a very gentle yet forceful manner. I say, excuse me, Endline, nice to meet you. And I say, Anne, this is something you could have mentioned maybe earlier.
Do you remember the wink?
That, yes, but a wink could mean so many things. And then, after my hyperventilating session, I commit to doing the job, and now I cannot go back on it because I am full of honor. So I am very conflicted. I want to support you as my teammate, but I committed to doing this. So what is a man to do?
Travel with me and do your best to accomplish your goals.
Well, Anne, I think Endline is one of these entities that has been locked out of this castle.
That's why we can meet them, because they are out with their
Because they're
keys.
outside of the castle.
Oh, I see.
So, like, I'm with you, Anne. I want to end death altogether. If we can do that, that's great. I don't know what the repercussions are, but if people stop dying, that's less sadness in the world, right?
Until it becomes very full of stinky people.
Oh, flip. I
And
didn't think of that.
what about the ultimate justice for evildoers? Some of them need to be put down like a dog. Like an evil dog, not like a good, friendly
We'll
dog
just
that licks
put
you in
them
the
in,
face.
put them in prison forever.
Forever?
Forever.
You guys are having some deep questions. I have a question for the GM. So, okay, peaceful death, tragic death, finality, forgotten death, and unsatisfying deaths are all locked out of the castle. I'm
Yes.
confused why unsatisfying death had a key then to the castle if they were locked out. So they're locked out in some other way that didn't take their key from them?
So they got pushed out, but they had their key with them. But without all of the keys, they can't get back in.
And they're each stuck in their own microcosm and can't get together to get all their keys together. So our goal is to get all the keys together so we can let the other deaths in. So
We can
okay.
lock the other deaths out. We kick them out, and then no more death in the world.
Okay, so taking their key doesn't go against my goals. I am on board with you guys, briefly.
So I think there is a little bit of explaining to do to peaceful death, because you reveal your treachery.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. I'll just be like, well, I mean, should I? Should we
Oh,
like,
Okay.
wait,
Just say like,
I don't know.
psych, and then
psych.
it's fine.
They have taught me this modern phrase, psych, and I shall speak it to you. Do not mind my portents. Leaf, you shall be returned to the castle. Give me your key.
Hand it over right now.
You
Peaceful
can't
death
use it.
she's like sniffing a flower. She's very similar to like Luna from Harry Potter, just like sniffing a flower now. And she looks up and she goes, "Oh, I guess I haven't left this meadow in a while, and I have not seen many souls. Well, I mean, I suppose if you can get the key, it's over on that stump. Yeah, you can have it. I can sense that your deaths were less than peaceful."
You can say that again. I got a question for you, Enline. Apropos of nothing, but we are in a realm that is completely foreign to me, and I could not help but see that there are trees surrounding this meadow. Are these trees dead? And like these are where trees go when they die? Peacefully, mind you. This is clearly a peaceful place.
Oh my gosh, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound?
Comes here. Clearly.
No, it comes to this meadow. And actually, that is exactly what Peaceful Death is going to say. She's going to say, have you ever wondered what happens to the souls of trees that peacefully fall to the forest floor?
Well, now that you are exploring that trees have souls, I feel very bad for cutting down so many trees to build campfires and burn their bodies and release their souls as I'm trying to warm myself on a cold evening.
Armando, you have the strangest guilt and lack of guilt that I have ever seen.
I like to have an ethos that I follow, and this is they are innocent trees.
Yes.
Well, my siblings' unsatisfying endings has to have his own forest, yes? So what are the trees you cut down other than meeting the ending they need to meet?
To serve our arcane deity needs. Gosh.
So they fulfill their purpose, and it is peaceful for them?
Well, if it was peaceful, they would end up here.
No, they died screaming in pain, Armand.
Well, I never hear a tree scream, but I am very concerned.
Yeah, so there was a tree in my village that I marked with my initials that died. Is it in this forest? Do I see it here?
Did it die peacefully? Did it fall by itself?
Well, I need you to elaborate what is a peaceful death for a tree.
It was burnt down during a raid. So most likely it wouldn't be here, but I want to check for it.
Probably not what you were planning on, GM, frankly.
Roll for tree, GM.
Okay. Peaceful Death kind of looks at you and goes, it would be an unsatisfying endings because it didn't...
I should have talked with Morrow about this, but we were in Morrow's office. I didn't see any trees there.
But she have a oak desk.
Oh.
That was your tree.
That was probably my tree.
Oh, man.
Why wasn't I looking?
Well, we didn't know. Like this.
This week on Fire Breathing Kittens,
We
do
didn't-
trees have souls?
Didn't think of the metaphysics of plants.
Peaceful Death is just kind of watching and is very fascinated with this conversation.
So when were you locked away? Or do you not know? It seems like you're not sure when you were locked away.
I suppose I stopped noticing souls. I mean, we did kind of get in an argument with satisfying endings, but the architect, whatever they're calling themselves now, and they did throw us out, but I just came here to finish taking care of souls. Usually they cool off by now, but I haven't seen another soul in, well, once I got through my backlog of trees, for about 2 months now, I suppose. I think that's how that would translate
2 months.
to mortal time. Time gets a little weird in the meadow.
So, okay, well then that answers my question. My grandma did die peacefully, so she'd be somewhere here, right? Well, I think it was peacefully. Maybe she thought it was different.
I mean, I suppose you could try looking, but I, again, haven't really been able to leave this meadow. And as she's talking, there's like a flash of light and a big giant oak tree just kind of appears off to the left. She goes, oh, there's another.
Wait, so peaceful deaths still happen?
I thought the whole point of this was that your deaths, you got all locked up and you were unable to receive
Wait a
new
second.
souls.
That's what we were told by Morrow. Maybe it's
Morrow
only
lied to
living
us.
people.
Maybe it's like a backlog thing too. Like they're finally processing. Trees may take a circuitous path in the process of, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah. Endline, how do you know? Does it take a while for people to come to peaceful death because they're just taking their time because it was peaceful? Or how does that work?
I suppose. I haven't really died myself, but it is usually a nice walk, a calming walk, depending on what's calming to you. How did you reach my realm?
Morrow? You know Morrow? Yeah.
Yeah, oh, he must have charmed his key. Always playing with magic, that one.
Charmed? Wait, could you check this key? What was it charmed with?
Well, you explained that it was pulling you in a direction, which frankly was a big relief to me, because all I see is there is something poking out of your pocket and you are going in a direction, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to follow this guy because he looks, very excited, you know? But then it's a key. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, it's no problem.
Oh, I'll put that in my jacket pocket from now on.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I mean, it's off-putting.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Well, this is a new experience for all of us, you know?
So I want to compare the keys. Do they look similar, or are they like all like distinct?
Do you walk over to the key?
Yeah. Do they like combine together into one?
As you walk over to the key, you're overtaken by a vision. Yarnak, would you describe the perfect peaceful death?
Oh, how Yarnak dies peacefully?
Yes, how Yarnak would, if he could choose his own peaceful ending, how would that end for him?
Yarnak would be sitting in his home with his wife that he will have and kids that he will have, and telling them a story as he, like, laying in bed, telling them the story of his life, like, and I love you so much, and I will see you all when you join me. And then he closes his eyes and dies.
I'm going to need you, so I will be rolling 2d6s. You can bargain for more than 1d6 if you have something that can apply here. But if you don't escape, then if you don't roll well enough, then you will stay in this loop of a memory forever. Or until, your teammates kind of
Hey, of all
do
the
their
people to be stuck in a memory, at least it's Frictionless Boy that we can just push or like tie a rope to him, pull
Just
him with
pull
us.
I'm in this loop, but you're just pulling me along to the other thing.
Yeah, and then we'll push you towards all the future keys. Like magnet fishing.
Okay, you got the next one. You get stuck in every single one.
Do you want to bargain for more than one dice?
So I think Yarnak would know something was off because he doesn't have a wife and kids. Like, this is what he would imagine him dying. And using his calculating trait, be like, this doesn't seem right. I don't think I should be here.
Okay, so that gives you 2.
And yeah. And after noticing this, he'd be trying his hardest to like get out of bed, get out of the door of the house to figure out what's wrong. Being ambitious, trying every possibility to get out of this peaceful loop, even though he does enjoy it. Yeah, that's...
Okay, so I'll give you 3 if you want to go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's go.
And while he's rolling, listeners, if this is your first Dicing with Death episode, every time we come across a challenge, the players are allowed to use their character traits to bargain for more dice.
That's a 1, 2, and a 6.
Ooh, 6. Very lucky. As you're living this loop and it starts over again, you kind of go, wait, I don't have kids. I'm not married. And you like shake your head and you're back in the meadow and the key is in front of you. And it looks similar, but it's like glowing light pink instead.
Oh, and the first one we had was already glowing because of the charm he put on. So I didn't have to... Oh, we already went through the unsatisfying death. Oh, flip. Okay.
And you can feel free to pick it up.
So I pick it up and I say... Armando, and if you touch this key, you will get stuck into a memory of a peaceful death, I believe. Does this key look like it's glowing to you?
I have a question for the GM. If I pick up my very own Elijah Wood, does the transitive property, do I get like the ringed as well? Sorry, this is the Lord of the Rings joke. I'm going to stop now. You can carry them for us, dear Yarnak. Thank you for bearing the burden.
Samwise, I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. No.
Exactly.
And as you like pull them closer, they like come together. And those like magnets that go zzz, when you like toss them together, it makes that sound too. Is
the pulling stronger in my pocket, now jacket pocket?
Incrementally, yes.
Okay.
The more Shikan jewel shards we collect, the closer we get. Let's go.
We need the Chaos Emeralds. We're gonna... Okay.
And peaceful death is kind of wandered off to the side chasing a butterfly and says, "Huh, okay, have fun," and is just peacefully wandering her meadow.
What am I, Char? Do some work. I mean, don't. You're death. Never mind. Take a day off.
So which direction is it pulling me? North, south? It doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's just pulling you like straight ahead.
Okay, we need to go straight ahead. You ready to go?
We go
Yes, okay. Yeah, I am on board.
toot toot.
Awesome. As you kind of enter the forest, it fades back into fog. And you're walking in the fog for a little bit, but it doesn't seem like long at all.
I actually, during this transition, I would like to inquire with Anne. It's like, look, you have clearly a plan. I would like to know before we meet another type of death, what you would like to do so I can try to align my objective with what you are doing.
I shall explain. Reminisce upon how your anger at the person who poisoned your water fueled your need for retribution against those who killed you.
Justice is different.
Indeed. Justice, yes. The one who actually killed you is Morrow. The aspect of death of unsatisfied endings, not just Merlot happenstance. Are you Morrow's minion, Armando?
I am not the minion of anyone, I don't think. I am a master of my own destiny. However, clearly this Morrow person is desperate. And we have an opportunity to set things right. And I am, I don't know if you know this, but my character sheet says I'm a superstitious person. So I want to make sure everything is right with the afterlife so that when I properly get there, I meet a peaceful death or a satisfying death and not this garbage. I don't want to go out like this. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So do not lean into blind faith for following Morrow's opinion, but instead listen to the architect's tale, and then, after hearing what they have to say, follow the motion of your liver. That is all I ask.
I meant to ask the peaceful death. She mentioned an argument, and I don't know if this is like a common occurrence because they say usually they cool off by now. So clearly this is like a very, I don't know, abusive relationship or something like that. And I want to make sure that we are correcting things in an appropriate manner. Like we could resolve things, but it could be back to the abuse, you know? I'm very sensitive. I don't know if you meet my parents. They're here somewhere.
Definitely not in peaceful death.
Oh, no. I mean, not that I have a hand in that or nothing, but you are right.
Officially, you did not.
Yes, a court of law will see it that way also. Anne, who stole a body, or 3, or I don't even know. Look, I like you. Let's try to get this together. Yarnak, I'm sorry for being so disagreeable. Having just met you, you seem like a great guy.
Okay, well, I think reminiscing on the conversations we've had with the two aspects of death, even if we lock everybody out of the castle, people are still going to die because Morrow said she set these plans into event 2 months ago before she was locked out. So anything that was set to die will still die if we lock people out. So I think I'm with you, Armando. Let's get everything straight so people don't only die one way.
We go.
We'll continue.
As you come up, a shadow looms, and a fortress appears. The walls are cracked. It looks like a war zone. Dust is rising in the air, and you see a shining knight without a helmet, brown hair streaming behind her, sword in hand, covered in battle gore, standing amidst a bunch of different, what you think are potentially monsters, enemies. They seem to shift, and to you, you can tell that these are made of the same mist that you've been walking in for a while, but she seems dead set on defeating them, and you hear her call out as she's by herself, "Troops, gather to the right. We can still win this. We can still take this." but there are no troops to be found. And sitting off to the side of the road, watching and drinking from a flask, is a man with dark gray hair, a fabulous mustache, and rusted armor, just sighing heavily and watching.
So Yarnak approaches the man in the rusty armor and asks, how long have they been fighting the mists?
The man turns to you and he goes, well, this one's been one of the toughest nuts to crack. It's been, I'd say, almost 50 years on this one. She just can't look around and can't realize what's around her and the truth of her ending.
50 years of non-stop conflict. That is insane. So Yarnak runs up and tries to get this person out of their trance of fighting something that isn't a threat, as far as Yarnak can tell.
So while Yarnak's running off, what are the rest of you following?
I was frankly motivated by the speech, and I am ready to jump in and do some fighting. So I am running up while he's... I missed that whole conversation with the gray hair man with the fabulous mustache. Although I noticed the mustache, I'm like, I gotta ask this guy how to take care of it. That's beautiful. So, but I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready to fight.
Anne, are you hopping in?
I mean, like, I don't fight, so do I summon a thing? No, because if I summon it here, I'm killing it. I'm pretty resistant to the idea of summoning things this episode, right? Ooh, can summon things here to the plane of death that I don't want in reality. No, I'm not that mean. I've trapped your living body in the plane of death. No.
Oh boy.
I'm good.
Oh wait, but they wouldn't see anything because they're not dead. Like
You're in the void, the endless.
Okay, so you're hanging back. The other
My
two...
style of combat is not compatible with...
Oh, you could summon many trees. Like we see countless trees. And they are very useful.
Yeah, you summon the peaceful trees, right? Or something from the same
She was
realm.
sniffing a flower too, so it's not just like trees, it's plants.
Oh yeah.
Imagine thorn bushes everywhere, very itchy. They die honorable death, I assume.
Oh, we don't even know what aspect of death we're in yet, but whatever.
I've recently started learning how to open portals and push things through them. So I could push things out from death into the world of the living. That would be fun. Mustachio man? Anyway, so just, keep going. I'm contemplating. I take no visible action.
Okay, so this is going to be our first combat of the episode. So I'm going to need everybody to roll their speed dice and tell me some numbers.
1.
2.
Oh, 1.
We're so fast.
Because my frictionless feet, I go a little quicker.
True. Okay. As you all charge into battle, the first one to move is the Lady Knight. And with almost practiced motion, like it's so fluid, she strikes down 3 of the shadow beings, the mist beings. Next up is going to be Yarnak.
So are these mist beings like physical? Do they harm or?
When she strikes one, they just dissolve and pop back up. And you do notice like some cuts and bite marks on the knight and some like dents in her armor. So yes, they can injure her for sure, you know.
Okay. Then I'm gonna join her in the fight and summon my sword and swipe at some of these mistings and say to, is it a lady?
Yes.
Yeah. Say to her, what conflict are we in? How can we end this?
Okay, so roll your attack dice. And this will be against, and pre-roll dice, everybody, based on kind of what you want to do.
Okay, that's 4.
Which beats the 1 that I rolled. So you hop in, you summon your sword, you swing it at the front row, they all dissolve, and then they kind of start resolving, reanimating, coming back together, making up new words. And the woman turns to you after taking a breath and says, "This is the battle for my kingdom. Can you not see the fortress and the troops that are fighting?"
I know what to do.
Hands over there like, okay.
Okay. Is that the end of my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can respond verbally if you want.
I do not see a fortress anywhere in sight, but I do see these mist creatures right in front of us. And I want to see if she has a key on her, like if she's living through one of her deaths or whatever, if I need to like take it from her.
She does not have a key. And with that, we're going to roll down to Armando.
So I am impulsive, and I don't have time to understand what this conflict is about. I just see a lady that is asking for help, and I'm like, I am ready. And so I demand that the mist people face me, because I'm not going to stab them in the back like some kind of coward. I say, "Face me, you cowards," but in like the most heroic voice you can imagine. My mustache twitch a little bit because it's so powerful. And hopefully they turn around, and as they do so, I unsheath my rapier, the Hopebringer, and I have a roll ready to go whenever you are ready.
Yep, go ahead. So are you just trying to cut him down?
As soon as they face me, yes.
Okay, and so that's 1d6. Do you want to bargain for any more?
Yes. So, as I mentioned, my character sheet say impulsive, and I am just jumping into the fight. So, like, boom. Also, daring is a characteristic I have as a trait. And so, I would like to maybe get to... And I know there is some bargaining, because we are like... I say if I lose, maybe I have a spiritual scar.
Yep, you'll have a scar, and it'll take part of your mustache. You'll have to grow it back.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Just like a little tiny bit. Just like a little tiny bit.
Mustache
You know what? I'm
dearer
willing.
than life.
It'll be a cool scar, and your mustache will grow back, but you'll lose just a teeny tiny bit.
Okay, I'm willing. So how many dice do I get with these?
I'll give you 2.
Okay.
3? 2. 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do 2.
I got a 6 and a 5. I rolled 3 dice just in case, and I got a 1 with a third dice, but we're not even going to talk about that one. A 6 and a 5.
Well, that beats the 2 I rolled.
And I would like to say I did it with flair. Like it was not like a simple poke.
You storm up to where they're fighting, and you call out to these beings, and a group of like 6 of them whirl and raise their weapons on you, and you are just a force. Armando is just a force of nature, whirling, spinning, flipping, grabbing onto one of them and making their own teammate ally stab them and pushing them out of the way as you just cut through these mist beings and turn them into dust, but like mist dust.
Like glitter, I assume.
Yes, it could glitter, like water droplets glittering in the sun. And
I'm very satisfied with this.
Yeah. I could do
Amanda's
this forever. No.
having a great time. And do you want to do anything? It's your turn.
Yes. All right, so I've got some proposals for you because this is a game of dicing with death, of bargaining with the GM. I would like to use my trait of short-sighted because I ain't got no plan. I'm going to do something that will potentially climactically alter somebody else's fate, like horribly change their entire destiny. And I just did it. All right. 2, for context, I'd like to use the character background of the knight. 3, I'd like to use a stress point. And 4, for bargaining, I'd like this good thing to happen. If I roll successfully, I want my roll to be the number of nights I bring through. And this bad thing to happen, if I roll unsuccessfully, that's the number of rounds that I blink out of existence. Finally forcing the debate or the conversation of why is Anne blinking out of existence? So that's my proposal for you, GM. I'm going to roll for these knights to come from the other realms of death that are parallel to and multiversally through this location, so I'm just going to poke at reality. I'm going to use my short-sighted trait for a second dice, because, oops, did I take you from a peaceful afterlife to this one? Context is that, so for a third dice, the knight's character background, using a stress for a fourth dice, and then bargaining, I'm putting my existence up on the line for the number of rounds that I roll. Or other flip side of that bargain, I get that number of knights. What do you think? Is that 5 dice?
Yes, that's 5 dice.
You can counter bargain. We can up the ante.
If this goes wrong, not only do you blink out, but at least 2 knights appear and they're gonna join the opposing side.
Ooh. All right. I'll take it. Is that 5 dice?
Yeah, that's 5.
All right, here goes.
Versus their 2.
My 3 highest are 6, 5, 4.
Your 5 and your 6 are over the 4s that we rolled. Not doing so hot on the dice situation on the DM side. Dice roller doesn't like me.
That is 12 plus 4 plus 4 number of knights that come through.
So
20,
this whole
20 knights.
Battalion of 20 knights. Just what do your portals look like?
I poke the air and its spiderweb fractures with a glittering, like white-blue, brilliant light.
Cool. And that's like arcing through the air and kind of sparkling in the mist. And this whole battalion of knights, you said 20?
Yep.
Comes through, and they all admittedly look a little confused, but also just kind of salute you and go, "What are your orders, ma'am?"
Oh, no, I have no magical power over them, but they do see their knight leader fighting.
Oh, those are the ones you're summoning. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they kind of look around, and the leader spots the commander of the army and goes, Where are we? This battle has been over for years. We must protect. And they all charge in to help. And as they charge in, because I guess it's her turn again, Yarnak and Armando, you find yourself surrounded by knights with very similar armor to the woman, and a rallying cry. And with that many knights, they decimate the mist for now. And the battle is brilliant, and it's very quick, since they're overpowered, and you all have a moment to breathe. And the female knight that you came upon first offers her hand to shake to both of you and says, "Rena Halverston, thank you for your help in battle."
Nice to meet you, Rena. I am Yarnak Veras. So now that the battle is won, what do you remember when you arrived here? Have you been fighting this battle your whole life?
It's been just one day, perhaps. She's looking around at the other knights and says, we were held up on the bottom of the fortress steps, and then there was a white flash, and then I was here again, and I just assumed that one of our enemies had gotten in a lucky hit on my helmet, because it was severely dented. And the man that stepped forward kind of pulls off his helmet, and he's got scars, and his hair is graying, and he goes, "Rena, I haven't seen you in 20 years. And she's just kind of like, does not know what to say.
So I would like to try to heal Rena's memories, like so that she'd know that she died, maybe, by like touching her head.
Do you have healing powers?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually it works on like fresh wounds. He's never tried it on long-term wounds. It would be a lot harder because she died 20 years ago, apparently. But he just wants to try to clear her mind, and be like, I know this seems pretty confusing. I just went through something similar to this like 2 hours ago. I don't know how I got here. So being sympathetic, just trying to, I guess, calm her down and get some clear answers from her, just to, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So I'm gonna roll 4d6. You're currently at 1. Do you want to bargain for more?
Yeah, so let's say if this goes wrong, she'll become antagonistic against me and Armando and pick up her sword and begin to fight us. And I want 2 extra dice for that, so 3 dice.
I'll give you 1 dice. Is there any trait that you can use?
Yeah, so he has helped other people with mental conditions. So using his reliable trait, he's a reliable friend, and he helps people who are suffering through mental trauma.
Okay, so I'll give you a 3rd one for that one.
Yeah.
So we're up to 3 versus
3.
4.
Oh boy, that's not good odds.
Armando, you're standing there. Do you have anything to add that could help?
When I see a fellow warrior that is trouble, it bothers me. Like, I want to...
Oh, this is also a desperate move. We want to get through this thing, right? And I don't like having people being in conflicts. So doing this is like kind of a last straw. If that, yeah.
Okay,
get
so
another dice.
I could give you a 4th for that. Armando, do you have one you can add to make it 5?
I would like to say just I have the trait of honorable and emotional, and the realization I see on the faces of the fellow knights that apparently lost Rena many years ago, relatively speaking, it makes it kind of draws a grief that it makes me want to pitch in to help in any way that I can. So I don't know if there is like a life force or whatever that I can contribute to help to the healing that Yarnak is doing, but like I'm just kind of opening myself up to help, whatever mechanically that looks like.
Okay, so I'll give you 5. But if you screw this up, she's immediately going to try to kill you.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. That's 33222.
Oh my.
So
Combat round 2.
it barely succeeds.
What?
Well, because isn't it? You said 3-3.
So, like, if you rolled anything higher, so we go
Oh
the
no,
highest.
wait! I can't read. I'm sorry. I read those 5s as 3s. My bad. I don't know why those flipped in my brain.
Okay,
yeah,
so
no,
yeah,
you didn't succeed.
Definitely lost.
You touch her, and she just becomes enraged and like vibrating with anger. And she goes, "How dare you try to mess with my mind and alter my memories? You must be working with the enemy." And she immediately takes a swing. So you're going to have to roll your defense dice.
Okay.
Can Yarnak die twice?
He already has
Hopefully
died twice. Can he
might
die
be
a third
finding
time?
out.
Okay. Okay, that's a 1.
Yeah, so go ahead. 2 minor wounds. Hard with the sword. Catches you on the shoulder and takes a nice chunk out of you. And as this is happening, and from your vantage point next to the older man, you just kind of see him start to shake his head and go, "I told you this was a tough nut to crack."
I am entirely on your hips, sir. Please, explain. Who is she, and why is she fighting? What is Rena Halverston's liver telling her to do?
It was a sad one, this one. And please, don't call me sir. Makes me feel, well, I suppose, as old as I am. They call me Drought. And tragedy tends to be my realm. Rena was killed during a siege. The walls of the fortress around her collapsed and her own men retreated while she stood and faced down a horde, which is why they keep resurfacing here, and left her to die when all she had to do was retreat with them, and she would have lived, lost the kingdom, but would have lived, and the royalty of her kingdom had already escaped, so there was no point in saving essentially what was an empty building, and everyone but her could see that.
What
And
was
so
the royal family's name, good Drought?
I believe it was something Starlights. I'm not 100% sure. It's been 20 years since she first came. It's kind of been lost from the old memory, and he kind of shakes his little flask and goes, perhaps the spirits as well. And he kind of laughs, because he's like, spirits.
Would not we all rather be at an ordinary?
Yes, that is true. And I'm afraid until she accepts the fact that her loss was tragic and unfortunate, she will forever be stuck here to battle. Though the addition of her troops, I guess it's tragic that you just brought them to the realm of death. It's very interesting how you managed to do that magic, and quite frankly, I'm not sure you're real, or if you are. And he's shaking his flask again.
My diamond stud earrings glow, and I say, I only brought over the ones that were already here. None of the living, of course. Yarnak, how are you holding up?
Yes.
So I didn't hear how many wounds I got. It broke up.
Two minor wounds.
Okay.
And before we hear how Yarnak's battle wraps up, we will get to that after our break. Today, we are joined by Anne.
Starlight, star bright, I wish upon a star tonight.
Armando.
I don't know if it is tragic, but it is very heroic, and I'm a big fan of this Rena person.
And Yarnak.
I got stabbed in the shoulder trying to help somebody out.
Before we go, I would like to chime in and mention we do not have a review for us to read to you. And one of the favorite things we like to do on this podcast is to read a review from a listener. So if you could be ever so kind and rate this review, rate the podcast, review the podcast, and let us know what you are thinking. Let us know what story you like, or, hey, I am going through the entire catalog and I am on this episode and it is spectacular. And you could also say who your favorite character is. I'm like Armando maybe is your favorite character. Just a suggestion, whatever. Please let us know what you think. We will get that information and then we will read your review on the air or on the podcast. I don't know, it's not live or anything, but you get the idea. So you tell us, we tell you, we tell everybody, and it helps us to grow. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, "Gratitude to my mentor Elena for your guidance and wisdom, which have been a guiding light in my journey." End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Did you know we have paperback, ebook, hardcover and audiobook adaptations of our adventures on Amazon and Audible? Is there an episode of Fire Breathing Kittens that would make someone you know smile? Telling them about it would help us quite a bit. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Fire Breathing Kittens. Is there anyone that would like to do a quick recap?
I will recap this episode. So, Yarnak, Anne, and Armando started out at their own funerals. We're a little concerned that it wasn't as nice as it should be, but the fireworks were fantastic. They then saw a door to the side with somebody saying that they had to speak with them. Eventually, with a lot of hesitance, Yarnak and Armando went through the door to meet Morrow, an aspect of death. Morrow is in a kind of sticky situation. He was locked out of the death castle by the architect, the death of satisfying endings. Morrow is the aspect of death of unsatisfying endings. Eventually, we agreed to help him to bring everyone back to order so they could all get into the castle and we could have different types of endings. Then Anne and Armando talked a little bit. Anne has her own motivations for seeing this through. Armando and Yarnak feel like bringing death back to normal is probably the best way to go, so weird things don't happen in the future. They meet the peaceful death, and she has her key right on a stump. After talking for a while about trees having souls, Yarnak picks up the key and gets sent into a vision of what he thinks a perfect death would be. He almost gets stuck in that loop, but realizes he doesn't have a wife and kids, and pops back out. The two keys merge together, and they continue forward, where they see a lady fighting mist monsters, and an old man in rusty armor to the side. Yarnak talks to the guy and he states that the lady was fighting for a long time, maybe even 50 years. So he goes and helps with the fight, as does Armando, fighting the mist monsters alongside Rema Halverston. Anne then brings 20 of Rema's fellow soldiers into the fight to help defeat these mist monsters, and it seems to have cleared up. But then Yarnak starts speaking with Rema and tries to heal her of her mind wound, and that goes horribly wrong, and she begins to attack Yarnak. And Anne talked with the rusty old man and found out that he's the next aspect of death that we need to talk to. And that's where we're at.
Rena is going up to swing again. Armando, since you are standing there, I will give you a chance to kind of intervene here if you would like
perfect.
to hop in.
Yes. Relying on the credibility I now have with Rena, who I'm a very big fan of, let me say, I will take my sword, and as she is swinging at Yarnak, I block, ka-ching, like, no, wait, he is a friend. We are here to help you, like that, like very firm, you know what I'm saying? And, but also understanding of like, I understand your need to protect your honor, but please hear us out. Like that was what I'm trying to convey with my words and body language.
Okay, so I'm rolling 4 again. So you start with 1.
What, 4? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to use my trait of honorable because I'm trying to protect my friend, and I'm also trying to protect her honor at the same time. So it's like, if you want to do like 2 dice for that one, I'm okay with that. Daring, like I am willing to jump in front. In fact, you know what? I will not only put my sword out, but I will put my body between the swinging and put my sword out to block. So even if my sword misses, she hit me with her blade. You know what I mean? Like that is a consequence I am willing to do. That is how daring and impulsive I am. All 3. These are all traits that I have. So honorable, daring, impulsive. That is 3 plus my base. And I will go ahead and use a stress point too. Pow! All right, right again.
Okay, there's
So
4.
is that 4 dice?
Yes.
I'm still very concerned.
So go ahead and roll.
Yes! This is a fantastic roll.
What'd you roll?
I roll a 5, a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Yep, because we rolled a 2, 3, 4, and 6. So some of those definitely beat.
Listener, if you are curious what tool I am using, it is rolladie.net, and I am just roll a 4d6, and it was spectacular. Now in this instance, maybe I will curse it later in episode.
So you managed to slide in front. Your swords hit. Yarnak, you're kind of recovering from your hit. And as you call out that it's their friends, she hesitates. And she starts to lower her blade, but she's still very suspicious. And she says, How do I know you could just be more of those monsters I've been fighting for so long? Have I not been able to see enemy from ally?
I don't know if you saw this, but I jump right in and I fight those monsters. If I was myself a monster, and look at me, I am not misty at all. I am very put together, very clear.
Armando, don't use that as your classification for who's a monster or not, says the fraying Anne.
Oh, okay. Hey, sorry. Well, just look at me right now, over here. Look at me. If I was to fight the mist monsters, if I was a mist monster, I would be fighting against myself, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. Just so you know, I hear that before. And it's true. I am here for you because I hear the clarion call of a soldier fighting for honor. That is what I'm doing. So I'm with you.
And Yarnak, patting his shoulder, goes, yeah, we're just trying to help you. I was trying to help clear your mind. You have been under a lot of stress for the past 20 years fighting this battle. Maybe it feels like the last just one day. But we're here to help. We want to help you.
I nod and point, like, yeah.
Anne, are you good to sit over there? You have anything to call in and add?
I walk over. I'm a ranged fighter. I shouldn't be close. And I say, Reyna, the Starlight family had evacuated, as had all of your fellow fighters.
She drops her sword and she turns to the knights you summoned. And she goes, Is it true? You retreated? You are gone? And the older gentleman says, yes, I died a grandfather because of you. You didn't have to die. You died tragically. We were trying to get you to retreat, but you were too lost in the battle, and we had no choice, but it was leave you or lose everyone.
I will, at that moment, because I can sense a lot of tension building, I will say, you die with honor. Because of your sacrifice, although tragic, you have given life to so many. And I would trade places with you in a heartbeat. And I bow. I bow before her.
And I say, my brother died in a similar fashion. We were on the battlefield, and he was struck down. I couldn't get there fast enough to heal him, and we had to retreat the battle. But as Armando said, you died an honorable death without you sacrificing yourself. Your men wouldn't be where they are now.
And you get 20-ish nods of agreement as the nights kind of fade away and the battlefield fades away, and you're just kind of left in just this open field. And Reyna goes, oh. And the older gentleman with the graying hair and the rusty armor walks over, and he's like slow clapping, kind of. And he goes, well, there's 20 years of struggle solved in 5 minutes. I'm rather impressed by you all. Why? I mean, you're not other aspects, and you have the flavor, I guess you could say, of Morrow all over you. Why are you here?
We want to give you access back to the castle so you can start receiving more people who have died tragic deaths. We would like to gather your key as well as any other aspects that have been locked out and let you all back in to bring order back to death. As you can see, I have the aspect of unsatisfactory deaths and peacefulness with me right now, and he holds up the key, showing tragedy, what he has.
Well, if you all could break this one's, and he like pats Rena's shoulder, this one's unfortunate clinging of the past, I suppose you could probably talk the architect out of whatever inane plan they've chosen. And he's like digging in his armor and like pulling on pieces. And he finally like drags out the key piece, and it's glowing gray. And he goes, well, I suppose you'll need this.
And then I say, before I grab this, when I was with Endline and I took her key, I was put into a vision of a peaceful death. Will this happen if I grab your key? Or because we've talked about it, I'll be fine?
Oh, well, that's how she keeps her keys safe. Not many say no to a peaceful ending once they're here. And they tend to just accept that ending over whatever ending they've found themselves here from. So, no, you won't. I mean, you did die unsatisfactorily, but I'm not sure you don't... Again, your flavor's not very tragic.
Okay, and Yarnak, being the keeper of the keys, the Frodo of the pack, grabs the gray key.
And they sing together like zzz, like the magnets again. And the tug is getting stronger, straight ahead.
Before we leave, I would like to ask this drought fellow. I say, why were you kicked out? Was there some kind of argument, like a repeated problem between you and this architect person?
Well, I mean, they all thought that we had been separate for too long. Time gets a little weird down here, and had been too long since death itself had formed into one, but it's a lot of paperwork for one being, god thing, no matter how all-knowing to handle, so that's why we split into aspects. But as the, older sister of the bunch, as you could say, despite my haggard appearances, she thought that if perhaps we all changed to peaceful deaths, the customer service would be faster and souls would be less upset and we could all form back into one death again. But the universe needs balance. There's a reason not everyone gets the ending that they want.
So what I understand is the architect didn't want to deal with the HR paperwork. So he split all of you up and locked you out so only the satisfying endings happen. Does the architect have a different name, or is that their name?
I mean, that's kind of what they're going by. I like to call him Archie because it annoys him, but you do you.
Okay, we'll see. Well, thank you for the key. We better be moving on. Oh, wait, I have one more question. Are there any trees in this?
And die a tragic death?
He actually goes, funny that you say that. If you look over here, and he's like pointing to the side of the ruined fortress, and there's like a bunch of tiny broken saplings. And he goes, these are the trees that die too soon in battle. It is an unfortunate crisis that our great force can be handicapped by beings urged for war.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've used tons of saplings for building fires. So, yeah, I guess those saplings would be here because they didn't get to grow up to what they wanted to be.
I firmly but carefully pull Yarnak aside. I say, look, we're already kind of in a lot of trouble. Let's not incriminate ourselves further. I don't know what the consequence of admitting... They probably already know. It's fine. You don't need to mention it. But if they don't know and you say something, maybe there's more problem for you. And for us.
Maybe he would like it because he's the aspect of tragedy. So he wants more tragedy to be here, right? So the more there is, the more he gets to do.
I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I'll shut my mouth. I won't talk about this.
No, you know what? You can roll the dice. Literally and metaphorically.
He's just like, I mean, yeah, I do like having trees every now and again. Changes up the battlefield, I better get this one off to her afterlife landing zone space, so have fun.
Okay. And then I'll follow the pull of the keys. Now I'm going even faster, I guess.
You slowly slide faster and faster.
Yeah, you're paragliding.
So the mist kind of envelops you all. And when it comes back, you are in a cave. And sitting there is... so it's a cave, and there is an elf woman. And she is standing over a body, and she has what looks like a nurse's outfit, kind of like a doctor's outfit. And there's a spell book floating around her, and she is slamming her hands against the chest of the body. And you just hear her muttering, "There must be a way. There must be a way. I've saved so many. Why should this one be any different? Please, I can bring him back. I can't give up. I can bring him back." And it's, slamming with magic, flying around.
Okay.
I will gently put my hand on her shoulder and say, "It's over." Like very sad and somber. "You've done all you can do. It's over."
And then I'll pat her on the other shoulder and say, "The important thing is to remember him. As long as they're in your memories, that's the greatest honor you can give them."
I'd like to roll, GM. I want to see who else is here.
Okay. I will let you roll that as you two are rolling your defense dice.
Oh, flip. We're gonna die.
You're already dead.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not. I mean, I did roll pretty bad for that one, so...
That's a 4 for Yarnak.
Armando
4 and 5.
got a 5.
I rolled a 2 and a 1. What did you roll, Anne?
Oh, I want a bargain.
Oh, you want a bargain. Okay.
I want a bargain. All right. So here's my trait. I am over imaginative, and I think I imagine that there is an aspect of death here too, so that we're not alone. I think either this person embodies forgotten death, or there's a possibility, like how there were 2 people in the previous scene, there's a second person here. So I'm going to try to spot them. For context, I'm going to try to name an item, which is the key in Yarnak's pocket. It tugs slightly, and the fabric kind of like pulls it, and it glows, and there's probably a glowing something somewhere in this room that's also kind of tugging gently at fabric, right? So I'm looking for that. I want to use a stress point, and I don't want to bargain with you. So I'm just going for 4 dice here. Based on my over-imaginative, I think there's someone else here. I don't think this is the aspect of death, of forgotten death. They could be, and I could be wrong. I'm looking for the item, and I'm using a stress point. Thoughts?
If this goes wrong... Well, no, you didn't really bargain anything. But if this goes wrong, you fade out for just a little bit.
All right. As the fraying fabric of my existence frays a bit more and my diamond stud earrings get a little dimmer, I'm going to roll 4 dice. 1 for base, 1 for trait, 1 for context, and 1 for stress. 4, 3, 2, 1. What more could a person ask for?
Which you ended up rolling more dice than me, so you win by default.
Only if my number's higher. If you got a 6, you win. Or a 5.
I got a 3, 4, and 5. Never mind.
Yes, you win.
I win. So Anne just kind of floops. At the same time, you all are thrown backwards, but you conveniently are like caught by more magic, so you get the kind of vibe of the person healing threw you off, but also caught you, so you didn't get injured. They just wanted you back away. And they are continuing to try to heal. And while Anne is gone, a door opens, and in walks a gentleman who looks like they could be the twin of the warrior you just saw. Except for this one's in like a black business suit and is like holding on to a silver pocket watch.
I will allow the person that is trying to resuscitate the body, the one that pushed us off. I say, okay, I got the message. I'm not going to try to force myself upon anybody unless honor dictates, but that is not the case here. So I turn to the person with the silver pocket watch. I say, excuse me, you would not happen to be an aspect of death, would you not?
And he kind of looks and he says, well, of course, I'm I'm here to try to convince this soul. Well, okay, I've been trapped here, let's be honest. But this is my pet project soul, I suppose, so it hasn't really been that boring. But this one needs to learn how to accept that some things are final. And I unfortunately was on a bit of a power shortage, so your friend will be back in just a second. I needed to borrow some juice, as it were. So apologies, pre-apologies. I'm not really here to fight. I'm just here to get through to this one. Perhaps you could help. I can kind of sense you got the other's keys. So, I mean, you help me, I help you, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure you've already been given the rundown here.
Okay. So what have you tried? You've been working on her for how long? A couple months? Couple years?
Oh, this one's been centuries, my friend.
Centuries?
Elves are stubborn creatures occasionally, and you pop in at that statement again. I'm feeling like a little tired. It's like a little life force there, or soul force, as it were, because you're dead. Kind of got just yanked a little bit.
The teens are terrible.
Anne, where'd you go? What happened?
Ow.
Maybe it's best we
ow.
don't ask because, like, I assume she would have been dead, but it's
If she didn't
worse
come
than
back,
we're already
yeah.
dead. So where did she go?
Oh wait, there's the tragedy was saying to Rema like that you don't end in the aspect. You have to get something resolved and you go even further into death. There's like 2 steps at least.
So this is a clear, I think, situation where she has not gone through the Dabda process, okay? The 5 stages of grief. So we got denial, which clearly she is in right now. But then it's anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally acceptance. And we have to get this person to go through all the steps. And she is still on step number 1. So
what can we do to make her angry?
well, she needs to be angry about the situation, not at us. That is
Okay.
misapplied anger. Like, we can get her angry. Maybe if we talk about how futile her efforts are, we can coax her into being angry about it. Maybe. I don't know if that's going to work, but we need her to move through the process and accept. You know what I'm saying? Dabda.
Can
Well,
I
obviously-
pickpocket the key out of the gentleman wearing the black suit and the silver pocket watch's pocket when he's not paying attention to me?
So I'm going to roll 4.
All right, I'm going to bargain. Okay, here's my trait. I am desperate. My context in the environment is that he's talking to my friends, distracted. My stress, I'm going to spend another stress. I only have 2 left. And for bargaining, I'm going to say if I get this wrong, he can really mess me up. He's already sent me away. And if I get this right, I want to experience a forgotten death. And I'll tell you what that's like. Thoughts? Can I have 5 dice?
A forgotten death?
Yeah. This is kind of meaningful for Anne.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it'll help get us to the next scene faster.
So if you get this wrong, you get a forgotten
You're
death?
truly
If
bargaining.
I get this right, then I touch it and I'll experience a forgotten death.
This
And I'll
is
get to roleplay that.
finality. This is not forgotten
Oh.
yet.
Oh, what does finality mean?
That some things are not meant to come back from death.
You know
Oh,
when
yeah.
you were playing Mortal Kombat and they say, like, finish him,
Fatality.
Okay,
and then
yeah, no,
it's
that would,
finality.
that would be great for Anne to get to experience that. I can definitely roleplay that. All right.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, roll. I'll give you 5. Oops. I only need 4. Thank you, dice roller. Oh, that was bad.
I got a 5, 4, 4, 3, 3.
Yeah, I got a 2, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, well, all right. So what happens is, desperately, as this person is distracted in the environment by talking to my friends, I reach my hand into their business suit pocket, the one on the inside of the shirt. I'm doing like a physical motion you guys in the podcast can't see, but like, you know, when you button up your shirt, it's the one on your left button. You know, there's a pocket there in suits. And I reach for that one. I'm bold. And I grab it, which is stressful. And when I touch it, I flashback to, if you guys have listened to Core Development, the episode where we got to witness what Anne's death was like, because Anne's dead, you guys. I don't know if you noticed this, but Anne is dead. What happened when Anne died is that she was hanging out with Mary and they were crossing a street in London. And Mary was distracted for a second and held back, but distracted didn't call out for Anne. And Anne walked into the street and a carriage just mowed her over. Just like crunch, crunch, gone, sploosh. And like there were bits of Anne all over the street. But Mary really cared, and Mary had magic, and Mary fought off the devils that came for Anne's soul to drag her down to hell. But what if, this is like a bad what if episode, Marvel Universe. What if Mary didn't have magic? Or what if Mary hadn't been able to fight off those sulfurous demons? And that was the end of Anne. Like if that was just it for her, that she lived a short life, she tended cows, she made cheese, she patched some thatched roofs. And that's all she wrote. Like that there was no fantasy world isekai. There was no getting to teach Sadie about teas and puppies and liquors. And that's just the end of Anne. That she, another carriage rode by and smushed some of the red stuff around. And that was it. So that's what Anne experiences when she grabs this thing out of the pocket, but then holds it up triumphantly above her head and throws it like a football to Yarnak. Catch.
Then Yarnak catches it.
Hopefully by holding up the crystal.
By holding
so
up
just
the
like,
other...
Yeah, they just like, it like magnets in.
The other three brings it in.
You cannot convince an elf. They are too stubborn. I have been trying.
I triggered Sadie
I
there.
am ignorant of this fact, and so as you were trying to do the pickpocket and you throw the key, I'm still trying to work with the lady. I'm like, can you believe what you are doing is not working? This is upsetting, and I'm trying to move to the anger part.
So also, because she can't deal with this death and she's trying to heal this dead body, I'm going to pull out my sword and try to cut off the head of this dead body, just so she knows for sure she can't heal this guy.
Okay, so here's the situation.
We already have the key, but...
You have the key, sword in the air, the aspect finale.
You remember when she pushed us? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes, very well. Just know that finality, like, he's pissed off. So, and congratulations, you've pissed off an aspect of death, but everything just kind of crumbles around you into mist. And so your sword, Yarnak, comes down onto nothing but mist, but the tug is feeling stronger.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay.
I turn triumphantly to them and say, I think what I did was working. We are past the obstacle.
We did it, Armando.
Thumbs up.
The elf finally has changed their mind. That's surely what happened.
100%. So, just trashing pieces of paper here. It doesn't take long of wandering until you are in the middle of a garden, and standing before you is, well, within the, like, hedges and wild plants, there seem to be, like, a pair of keys, a left sock, a random teaspoon, a paperclip, a note addressed to, says, to my BFF. And in the middle of all of this are 2 crystal capsules that seem like they are holding bodies. So they seem more like coffins than crystals in structure. And there is a woman wearing a light pink dress, kneeling between them. And she has the same kind of vague, misty featureless thing going on. And she says... And the sound kind of like hits you. It hits you like a brick to the face. Doesn't injure you, but it's just like there. Her voice. Here in the garden, all that lost is waits for a chance to be found again. You too have been lost. One to time, one to the whims of fate. You may free only one, but choose carefully. My twin, forgotten by the world, lies in these capsules. She has slept for centuries, while I have guarded this place alone. No one remembers her. No one ever chooses her. Still, she waits, hoping someone will remember. And the, crystalline coffins become clear. And she says, as you, Anne, are coming face to face with Sadie's body in this structure.
I've been looking for you.
You can free my other half and reunite us, or you may take back what you came for. I do not envy your choice.
Hey,
what if
I
the
have an
other
opinion.
So
coffin?
one half is the key and the other half is the body?
I have a
no.
confession to make. After you two went through the door earlier, I poked my head in and I looked inside my coffin, and my body, which is this elf here, was not there. I believe she physically is here. This is the real Sadie's body, and I have a legal responsibility to return this. I signed paperwork that I would be a good steward of this body. So I vote this one.
Yeah, so if we get these keys, you won't have a body to go back to?
Correct. I am dead. This is the body that has been very kindly hosting me. Thank you. Best Airbnb, 5 stars.
But maybe you can choose your body, but we can choose the key. So we get both of the things. We just go at exactly the same time.
Split the party.
Just to be clear, in the second coffin, is just the key, or is there something else along with the key, or am I misunderstanding it completely?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the 2 coffins, coffin 1 has Sadie's body. Coffin 2 has the body of the twin aspect of death to memory, or forgotten deaths, essentially, Memoria. There is no key in either of them. Memoria still has her key. Like the other keys, you have enough of them, are kind of tugging towards her, so you can kind of tell that she still has a key. If you would like, do you want to investigate the coffins a little bit?
Yeah, because the last I saw Sadie, I was going through a portal from reality to the dream world, and I kind of lost her somewhere around there.
Oh, also, I'd like to do a luck roll to see if I notice a pair of socks or jeans that I forgot.
Yes, I would love to see that luck roll as well. So the other 2, I don't think you really need to roll for this. You just get closer. The woman lets you. She's not going to stop you. And you see at the base of these 2 coffins, there's a riddle. And the riddle says, to find what's lost, you must recall the truth that hides behind the fall. Speak aloud the name that binds and set free what you cannot find.
Can you read that again?
Yep. To find what's lost, you must recall the truth that hides behind the fall. Speak aloud the name that binds and set free to what you cannot find.
Still just as confused.
Here, I'll send a picture of it.
No, it's fine. It's just I'm dumb. And I'm like, oh, I don't get the riddle.
And then do you want to do that luck roll real quick while I let them...
Yep. That's a 6.
Oh, well, with a 6... What is your favorite thing that you've lost recently? It could be a piece... I know. Where did I...
Maybe it's like a password to online auction site or something like that.
You forgot you had a subscription to an online auction site, and that's the password too.
Yeah, I lost the password.
Shining in the bushes, you see a weapon, which I'll let you describe, that your people believe to be forgotten to myth. You heard this as a myth, it was lost to the ages as a story as a child. So I'll let you pick whatever that weapon looks like.
So, in the bushes, he sees poking out a dagger just at the base. And inside the dagger, there is a red gem, and it's somewhat encased in wires of metal that lead to the tip of the blade. And Yarnak comes up. He's like, is this what I think it is? Talking to himself. And he's like, yeah, it is. It's the the blade of growth, meaning when he uses this blade, anytime he cuts somebody with it, it absorbs some of their life force and traps their soul in the dagger. But then he can reverse the blade and inject the soul into something else.
Okay, cool. Got a soul blade. Nice. Do my two puzzlers have a guess? And also, which body are you choosing?
To find what's lost, you must recall the truth that hides behind the fall. Speak aloud the name that binds, and set free what you cannot find.
What can we not find?
Also, I will remind you that this is the Garden of Forgotten Things, and the aspect's name is Memoria.
Yarnak walks over. What do you guys see? And he reads the thing. Like, something.
Truth that hides behind.
Let's walk through this step by step.
So, you had lost your body. What's the name of that body? Could you just say that body's name?
I want to understand the choice I'm making before I make a choice.
That is not the name that binds.
Yeah. So let's walk through this step by step. Okay, to find what's lost. So there's something that's lost. Step 1. You must recall the truth that hides behind the fall. So what is the fall? I don't know. And what is the truth hiding behind the fall? I don't know, but we've forgotten it. Speak aloud the name that binds. So what is a binding name?
Something that brings everything together. I would think death is binding because it is universal up until recently.
Because it could be like a portmanteau, right?
Oh, like if we say architect, then oh no.
Well, a portmanteau is when you combine two things to make a name. It's literally a binding name. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, and set free what you cannot find. What can we not find? We've been finding everything so far. We've been so good at finding. I found all the keys. So there's.
Memoria
I don't think the last line is as important for the name because what it is just saying that is the consequence of saying the right name, and then it will set free what we cannot find. But that is just going to happen if we say the right name. So what we need to focus on is recalling the truth behind the fall.
Right.
And
what is the fall?
Speak aloud the name that binds.
Right.
Maybe this is too simplistic, but when I think fall, I think like the season. And the truth behind that season is you think it's going to be beautiful and cool and everything, but in actuality, there is a lot of allergies that go everywhere and you start sneezing and you start getting sick and you get a cold. And the truth is, it's not as enjoyable as you think it is for a season. You think it's all pumpkin spice and smiles, but it is mucus coming out of your nose constantly.
Okay, so the truth behind the fall is that allergies.
I don't mean to get us on the wrong track, but that is just what comes to mind.
When I think of fall, I think of like a fallen comrade or somebody who has died. And you mentioned that you're dead. Do you know how you died? What would be the most unsatisfactory way for your body to have died?
I was run over by a carriage.
Oh, wow. Okay, what's the truth behind... Who was driving the carriage?
Oh! This is when we find the deep conspiracy that it was aiming for me.
Wait a minute. The name that bound you to the body of Sadie was a Mary.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is the name that binds you.
She bound. Yes.
Well, yeah? Mary's not in the other casket, right, GM?
It is the twin of Memoria in the other casket.
Right, yeah. Just making sure.
And then we'll be like, Memoria, how did you lose your twin?
I wish I could remember, but it's been centuries since they were trapped.
Are you telling me your twin died and you don't remember? Like, you are here kneeling for a reason, but you can't remember how they got here?
I mean, I'm not the aspect of remembered death.
There's so many of these things.
Do you remember anything? No, nothing.
Just that one day there was both of us, and then one of us was trapped, and I have to wait for a soul to choose them in order to get them back.
Well, there are 3 of us in 2 boxes.
I've a question. Memoria, could I see your key real quick? And he reaches for the key.
Okay, he's doing that. Armando, you and I both at the same time put our hands on one of these boxes at exactly the
That
same
sounds good to
time.
me. What name you gonna say?
I'm going to say Sadie, and you should say whatever Memoria's twin's name is.
I'm gonna guess it is Forgetia. I will shout
Olivia? Olvida.
Forgetia.
Forget ya.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We have three things happening at once. I'm reaching for the key. Armando's reaching for Memoria. And Anne is reaching for her body.
and Anne, are you saying Sadie?
Yeah, but only if Armando also says a name that sounds like, what is to forget in Spanish? I'm going to make up a name.
That's
Oh.
Olvidar.
Right. So, but like would be Olividar.
You can just say Olivia. That's
Yeah. We're going to call you Olivia. Memoria, Olivia. Right. Okay. So
Sure, it works.
you ready, Armando? That's
Yes,
your,
I will say
your
that
characters. All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Sadie. Oh, good job.
Olivia.
Good job, Armando.
All right.
Okay, Memoria kind of holds out her hand and like there's nothing there, and she goes, you must choose to summon, and then you all say the names and
And touch the
The-
caskets, demonstrating a clear
caskets,
choice
yes.
and more than one person, one choice, more than one person, more than one choice.
and the caskets spring open, and
Terrifying.
as they spring open, Sadie's body is like perfect, healed, not awake at all in any way, so you're gonna have to figure that out. But standing up is, I guess, Olivia, and
When the casket opened, I turned to high five Anne. Because clearly we do something right. You know what I'm saying?
Yay! I high five
High
you, and then
five.
I try to just
Clap.
like lean backwards into Sadie's body to see if that works.
it does not. You're just
lean through
on
it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, well, you're on top of it because you're in the same realm. And Olivia comes back, and the garden seems brighter, and some of the like lost things are disappearing, as if they are like being returned. You still keep your dagger. Don't worry about that. And the key like blinks into existence in Memoria's hands, and she just kind of like chucks it at you and runs to her twin.
And I lift up the other 4 keys, and it goes right into the center, making a complete key, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, half a key, because the other half is still at the
still
castle.
Oh, yeah.
And she just kind of goes, well, no one's ever, and this is Memoria, and I cannot thank you enough, and there's like a path opening up to the gates of a castle, and the keys are like, this way.
Okay, we start heading towards the castle.
How am I carrying Sadie's body? Oh,
Oh,
I know.
wait,
I've got a
I have an
frictionless
idea.
friend. Please lay down.
I was gonna...
You're gonna be a sled.
So I can apply it to people's clothing. So I could put it on her pants and shirt to just...
Shoes, my friend. Shoes.
You're just going to stand her up and push her?
No, just her
The
laying
center of
down on the
mass is
ground.
too
and-
high, it's gonna fall over. You want to put it like lie down, just for simplicity.
If she's laying down,
Okay, I'll tie her to a board, and then I'll put her over my shoulder. She's tied to a board. Make her heels frictionless, and just kind of carry.
Okay, yeah.
That seems overly complex, but I will support you.
Lay her down. Make a little sled. The sled. Yeah.
I was thinking if you put her on the board, make the board frictionless, and then you could just pull the board.
Okay.
Why are we walking? Can we not like get a sled car or something that we all ride
wait,
in?
We can all get on the sled and just push it.
Toboggan your way to
I don't
the
mind
castle.
rowing.
Yes, I'm on board. Literally.
And because it's frictionless, the more force we do, the faster we get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all find, I guess, a rowboat that's a little like soaked in water, like it got lost at sea. And there's like one paddle, and it's big enough to fit all of you, so you can Roll for friction, I suppose, to see how well this works.
Are we all rolling, EM?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean-
just my person. So
I'll
the
give
one
you
dice plus.
I'll give you 2 dice because it's a wild, wacky idea, I guess.
Okay. And I've used it a lot in the past, so I'd like to add my reliable trait, and use one of my stress to bring it up to 4 dice, just so we can get this on the road. I don't want us to delay any longer.
Well, and you are feeling a little bit better the more keys that you have.
Oh, and are we able to recover? I still have 2 minor wounds. Like, I guess we haven't had a time to break, so I guess not.
You have not had the time to break.
Okay, well, we'll just keep going. Headstrong. 6, 2, 2, and a 1.
6 beats a 4, so yeah, you're trucking along in your little forgotten boat through the mist.
And
To the
Armando
gate.
and I will take turns with the row paddle, just so we don't get too tired.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's very easy because it is a frictionless situation.
Yeah. One good shove. Avoid any obstacles.
So
Oh yeah,
The
that'd be
mist-
bad if we ran into a tree. Oh flip! There's too many trees here.
Forgotten trees.
now that you say that, you do whiz by some like weird fruit trees that are like extinct and no one knows about.
I totally want to yoink fruits as I go, but we're too fast. It's terrible, terrible.
You can you do the poke with the portal poke, and a tree can be a summon.
That's
Turtle
true. Yeah, I'll
Yeah, you
I'll
can summon
you
that
later.
tree once we get back to being alive.
Mortal realm.
There is no consequences summoning things from the realm of death. None at all.
None. Never. Any. Okay, so as you are boating through the mist, sliding through the mist, it opens up and in front of you, you see the vague outline of a castle and you feel, well, Yarnak feels because he's the one with all the keys, kind of what death truly means. Peaceful, tragic, forgotten, final, and unsatisfied. Like you're feeling all of these emotions very strongly. Which one is the strongest for you? Which one do you feel, I guess, not strong, like, I don't want to use the word kin because but like, which one calls to you the most?
Probably that death is final. Because his brother had died in battle. He couldn't get there soon enough to heal him. But he knows that when death happens, it happens for a reason. And the best thing I can do is remember, but know that they're not coming back. So finality.
As you're thinking that, the castle forms out of the mist, and it's gray and black bricks, very like institutional, very strict, kind of vaguely crematorium shaped. And the gates, as you approach, the keys are like pulling really hard and very excited, and the gates kind of light up and slide open, and you slide into a massive chamber on this boat. Do you have a stop plan? Out of
No,
curiosity.
we don't. Not currently.
I think it is just
How
run
much
into
speed
something.
did we? Yeah, our plan is to try to slow down with the paddle, I guess, but like, or jump out of the boat in the opposite direction, cancel out that inertia.
Okay, because currently you're sliding and you're gonna hit like a marble throne. So...
Wait a minute, this frictionless thing is a power you have, right? You can turn it off.
Oh yeah, I can cancel it
Yeah,
as
just-
long as I can touch the
Just
bottom of
use
the boat.
the brakes,
Yeah, make the friction coefficient higher.
but gradually. You know, we don't want to like get thrown out of the
Yes,
boat.
so I would have to absorb it by touching the bottom of the boat, and the bottom of the boat's touching the ground right now. So there's not. It'd be tough for me to absorb it, I think.
You can't like hit the outside?
Yep, I guess I could.
Okay. If you're wanting to do this gradually, I'm gonna roll 3d6.
No.
I have an idea. It may be crazy, but here we go. Me and Anne and the body of Sadie lean to the left. We get on the left side of the boat, so we are like leaning to the left. And while you are also on the left, you reach over with your very long arm and you touch the bottom of the boat that is exposed. And then when you say go, we slam to the right and we start like skidding in a circle until we stop.
I think that's a good plan.
What can I say? Even a trash can get a steak once in a while, right?
Okay, so I'll start you off with 3 dice, like 1 dice apiece. We'll make this a group roll versus my 3. So if you want to add any more.
Hey, you guys, you have 5 stress points.
True. Well, I'm going to use my reliable trait again because it hasn't let me down yet. The power. I mean, we are going pretty fast into this castle. That'd bring me up to 2 dice for me, and the other, they both have 1 dice.
So that's
Would
4
you like
total.
to use one of your 5 stress points?
Oh, yeah, I'll use the stress point too. So now I'm at
5.
cool.
Okay, so
Would I roll all 5 dice, or do I roll the 3 that I have and they roll 1 each?
you roll the 3 you have, they roll 1 each. So if you guys would like to go ahead and roll. Oh, this dice roller hates the DM.
Okay.
I got a 4.
I got a 6, 4, and a 3.
I am also going to spend a stress point. Armando, are you spending a stress point?
4 is pretty good.
All right. 5 and a 3.
You had a 6, right, Yarnak?
Yeah, so it's 6, 5, 4, 4, and 3.
Well, the 6 gets it because I rolled a 5, 1, 1.
Yes.
This dice roller does not like me, apparently.
Just use Armando's dice roller. His seems to do good.
So Armando and Anne, you tilt the boat to the side and you still are holding on to Sadie, and she's like out. So she's just ragdolling along. So she's not going to get hurt. She's fine. And you reach over Yarnak and hit the bottom, and you guys spin out, and it's like a little bumpy, but it's you kind of suspect it's kind of cool, and come to rest at the bottom of the bottom of this throne room's many thrones, like one of the thrones. And there are several aspects around you, but sitting in the highest throne of them all is one that looks like that looks like your grandma, like a grandma, a very kind, smiley face, apron, happiness, and she's just sitting on the throne waiting.
And that would be like, so she looks like my grandma, or she looks like all of our grandmas?
All of your grandmas at the same time. Depending on who's looking at her.
So I look at her and I'm like, Grandma Lilith, you're an aspect of death?
So for me, I look at the lady and she looked like my grandma, but I don't know my grandma because my parents are terrible people and I never seen my grandma before in my life. In fact, my mother killed her parents to acquire their fortune and their business. So I think she looked like my mother's mother, but I have no idea. There's just like a faint family relation. I'm like, hey, you look like a picture that was on my mother's mantle.
Anne sees a lady milking a cow? This is weird.
And in a voice that makes you feel so at home, so peaceful, so happy with your lot in life, they say, welcome. I see the other aspects have supplied you their keys. Have they changed their minds? Have they chosen souls to represent their surrender?
I think you need to explain the situation in very small words because, number one, I'm not a very smart man. I can embrace that fact about myself. I am a man of action, not a man of words. So please explain to me why you are fighting with these different aspects and why you are dissatisfied with all these different ways of people dying and why you would prefer that nobody die at all.
Oh, it's not that I don't want them to die at all. I just would like all their deaths to be satisfactory and as satisfying as possible. It speeds up the process. Because could you imagine the numerous, countless deaths from war that could be prevented? Wars could be prevented if only everything was satisfying. And satisfied souls tend to not want to argue or have issues to process, which means they go on to their afterlife so much faster and where their space is in this universe, and we could become one again. We could just become death instead of death's aspects.
So, if somebody else is satisfied with how they killed somebody, do they go to you? Or can only people who are satisfied with their own deaths die?
Only people who are satisfied with their own deaths end up. But you see, if I had all the power, I could create, be an architect, if you would, their perfect endings. I just need everyone else's support and power.
But if someone were to figure this out, because humans are very smart, and eventually someone will find out, and they will just keep themselves from being satisfied and take over the entire world, right? Because they can't die unless they're satisfied. Because you're the only one in control here, right, architect?
Well, yes, and the mortal world and someone taking over is not my problem. It would only be a single person. How bad could that be?
Well, him being unsatisfied would make other people be unsatisfied. Then you'd no longer have people dying, and you couldn't do your job, right? Because everybody is unhappy with this one ruler.
But they might take the satisfaction of death to get out from under the ruler.
I don't mean to, introduce myself into this situation, but I must say that I have a very unsatisfactory death. And so in that case, what does that mean for me and my friends here? Because I can only assume that their deaths are also unsatisfactory. So are you going to let us in? Are we going to be able to pass through? Or are we in some kind of limbo forever?
Yeah.
Well, since you all have proven yourselves worthy souls of at least the respect, and perhaps I could use your goodwill with my siblings, as it were, to get them to loan their power to my cause, I have an offer. And I could send you back. You would get into your own bodies, live your life until I could architect and design your perfect satisfying passing. Or you could stay dead, stay in this form and become a sentinel of mine. Someone who could affect things in minor ways, push a breeze a certain way, to create plans and make death satisfying. But you would be, some have called it cursed. I say it's a blessing to roam the earth as my sentinel, or the mortal plane as my sentinel, forevermore.
But we have your siblings' aspects. So we hold, from what I understand, the power that you crave. So
if not, that's a real gutsy claim.
Yeah. And they had already promised us that we would become alive again. So what you're offering us, it doesn't really help us at all, because we'll get what we want by helping your siblings. We want things to be back to the way they were.
I would like to distance myself physically from Yarnak. Anna's gonna drag Sadie and just step sideways, crab scuttle away, and say, "We are unique beings and should not be treated as a group."
We are a team, right, Anne? We're together on this.
You agree? You helped us gather the keys.
I think that the person who killed me, well, you two, the person who killed you two, maybe you don't have to be their immediate and uncompromising ally. Tell you what about a trial period? What if this starts to have problems, architect? Could you change your mind?
I suppose, but...
How about if we take a vote, right? You try it out, and then everybody votes to see if they want it to continue.
But if they unite into one being again, that's one vote.
They're all one person.
No. Of the mortals on the realm of the living. If they don't like it, could you end the trial, cancel subscription?
You're gonna hold on, wait a minute. You're gonna leave the power of the afterlife into the hands of people? Have you met people?
People don't want to die.
This is not a. I must respectfully disagree with you as my teammate. I love you, but this is. I cannot stand by that.
It is better to make choices for the peasants as they know not what they desire, says Armando. Yes, that is.
No.
that
You are
is
saying
how-
okay. You are giving a power that they are incapable of handling, and then what? What they decide? Hey, you know what? We don't want to die at all. Is that okay with you if they decide this?
I'm just saying the architect wants to try a thing. Who am I to say that they cannot try a thing? Try the thing, but perhaps listen to feedback on your thing. And if the whole mortal realm, is under the sway of a Führer who does not want to die and is like, okay, cancel subscription, like perhaps this assessment could be made and a decision could be come upon at that time. That's all I'm saying. Why be so hasty? Why are you immediately the ally of the person who killed you and you witnessed your own funeral because of them?
I am not, number one, I am not the ally of this person that killed me. They architect their own devious plan to have Mr. Merlot poison me in the most unceremonious way I could die. Look, I wish I would have met you.
Morrow
I wish I
did
would have
that
met
to
his
you.
grandma. What's that?
Morrow did that to you,
I
not this
agree
architect.
with you. I
Okay.
agree with you. Listen, I agree. But I think it's a simple case of mathematics, okay? You think that this is going to streamline your operation, make it more efficient because everybody's going to be satisfied, everybody's going to go to the afterlife. But what you are missing right now is the way it is happening is everything gets divided up by all the different aspects. So all the people that die the tragic way, all the people that die the unsatisfactory way, they are handled by somebody else. You don't need to worry about that at all. You only have to worry about a subset of the people that are dying. People and plants, by the way. We met the trees. That's right. So what I'm saying, if you combine this all into one giant tent, you are going to be up to your eyeballs in people that need to be dealt with. And plants. Think about it. You don't want that.
Armando, just roll me a d6 and tell me the number real quick.
A 4.
Okay. A couple of other wraith-like beings kind of chime in from the ceilings and they go, "Yeah, you're making more work for all of us." And the architect goes, whoa, wait a second. No, I mean, yes,
Who is dealing with the
suppose-
unsatisfied souls right now? Is it you?
Well, no, that would
Then
be...
why are you complaining? You got the sweetest gig in the whole world. Not only is it a subset of all the deaths in the entire universe, but it is only the satisfied ones. That is all you have to deal with.
So why put more work on yourself? You're the architect. So the best thing you can do is lessen the work for yourself and have everybody do their own thing again.
I mean, unless you were a power-hungry monster. You know what I'm saying?
Seeing that their allies are turning at the concept of more work, the architect says, "Fine. You do not want to be my sentinels. You are turning the rest of my siblings against me. I will allow the aspects back into the chambers so we may debate this. Are you satisfied?"
I would like to set the record straight, to be frank. I do not turn your siblings against you. You turn your siblings against you. I am just stating their case as clearly as I can as a mortal. I am a very finite mind, but this is how I understand the situation to be.
Yeah, so could I get all the aspects keys and let everybody in? Because I don't want to, but they need all the keys to open it to everybody else, right? Or how does that work?
Yes, they were trapped. So the architect goes, snaps their fingers and goes, "Fine, I've opened all the paths from their domains back to the castle." And the door kind of swings open and you can kind of see storming in the distance are all the other aspects. So they're all coming. They're free. And the architect goes, you could just leave their keys in their thrones. They'll grab them when they're here. And is just like now sulking like a petulant child upon their throne.
I would like to bow to the satisfied death aspect, the architect, and say, thank you so much for listening. I would like to make a request if it's not too much. And I put my hand over to Sadie and Anne, and I say, Anne is in a very complicated situation. She is inhabiting the body of Sadie, and Sadie is somewhere. I'm not sure exactly the details. I have not gone through every single episode of the season, so it's very complicated. But can you please take care of them in a way where they will be satisfied?
I'm okay. I don't want 2 episodes in a row of people deciding what body I should have. I'm gonna know.
I just want you to be taken care of, and I am appealing to a greater power that has the power of life and death.
On my behalf, I greatly appreciate your efforts. If I could just end this inside Sadie's body again, I'd be totes happy.
Well, I think maybe you have an ally, but I don't know. Just you can talk about it offline, as they say.
One of the wraiths comes down and is like, I am Echo. I am Absence. You have been absent from your Sadie's body. When you so choose, take this, and like a clawed hand drops a stone into your
Immediately.
hand. Smash it, and you shall be returned. Boom, smash. And they go, well, that was fast. Okay, cool. You're back in Sadie's body.
Yay!
And you all see a shining door to your right. Because I'm assuming, are you putting the keys back?
So before I put the keys back, I want to ask all the aspects, because they're all together, right, in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
So my father assassinated the human King Tebas, and I would just like to know why he died. This can be something in the future episode, but maybe he gets the opportunity to like speak with him.
Well, we could perhaps try to bring his soul up here, and Absence again, Echo, comes up and goes, well, you are feeling the absence of your father so greatly. I can use that to create this. And he hands you another stone, and he says, would you have a moment in the mortal plane, and you wish to speak to the king, and also give us, like, I don't know, 2 months to go through the paperwork so we can, kind of arrange this whole thing, you may speak and have your questions answered.
Okay, thank you. Then he puts the keys in their respective rooms.
And with that, today we were joined by Yarnak.
Glad to be alive again.
And Armando.
I am coming for you, Merlot Happenstance.
And Anne with Sadie's body.
I found Sadie's body. I found Sadie's body. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.